Absolutely spot on, Rob. You've obviously been there once or twice. Again, probably a makeshift back three here. The key one for me is McManus's role in the wide wing-back area. Jack will sit and allow Latapi, I think, and Arpinon to go and support the front two, the French pairing of Zitelli and Libra.
And there is Freddie Arpinon, the latest member of Hibs' French contingent. And certainly reports of his abilities are very positive, and he could be a useful addition to this Hibs squad. Hugh Dallas from Moscow last weekend to McDermott Park this one. He handled the Russia-Slovenia World Cup tie last weekend, and he is in charge of this one. Hibs against St Johnstone, live on the BBC. Matthias Jack with a shaven head. That's Latapi aiming a pass through the middle for Arpinon. Teenager McClure. Silla. They've missed him when he's been suspended. Momo Silla, very creative player for St Johnstone. It's Larsson, and that's a heavy challenge from Dasovic. Free kick.
A welcome to Scottish football for Arpinon there, Rob.
Bon chance. Martin McIntosh with the free kick. In towards Libra, that was Zitelli. And Lovenkranz. Neat touch from Matthias Jack. Sam McManus gets beyond for South. An upward cross, beyond Main. That's cool play from a youngster. His first game in the top team. And almost smoking a cigar there, wasn't it?
Yeah, a great composure from a young player coming in, making his debut there and deciding to dribble out the 18-yard box. I don't know how Sandy Clark would have reacted to that, but certainly shows a real confidence in his ability.
Sandy's probably had a seizure down below us, but that was good play from 18-year-old David McLeod. Nah, he looks okay. McIntosh beyond Zitelli. There's David Weir, or even Jim Weir. Silla finding some room. It was intended for the overlapping McLeod. Didn't find its way through. Another stiff challenge from Dasovic, this time on Latapi. Good touch from Zitelli to lay that off. Smith to Libra. It was very much a passing side, although they do miss the obvious influence of Frank Soze when he's not around.
Yeah, it's an interesting tactical battle actually straight away, Rob. Young McManus is playing near enough flat up with the other two strikers, which is obviously causing Smith a wee bit of a problem, but he's having to come out quite early to pick up the wider player in St Johnstone, so it's going to be an interesting battle down that right side.
Latapi. Finnick to McIntosh. Played in towards the feet of Libra, but it's an awkward pitch. Silla, a little bit unconventionally, trying to keep possession, and the free kick goes against him.
Yeah, there again, it's just a bit. I think the pitch actually causes the players a problem. I think it's going to be very lively in there, Rob. Very difficult for people to get their foot on the ball and make passes, and I think that's going to be a real problem.
It's Larsson. Libra's after it. Kernaghan won the header. Latapi asking questions of Dasovic. A neat exchange. Danny Smith. Arpinon. Danny Smith. McManus. And that's a St Johnstone throw. Loss for Forsyth. He's 18-2. Two 18-year-old fullbacks for St Johnstone. 5 under 18 in the 16 for today's match. Youth getting its chance in Perth, but also down to necessity really for Sandy Clark. He's got so many players unavailable.
Yeah, it's great that they're getting an opportunity to play at this level and experience it, and it'll give Sandy a good indication of just where the progression is at this moment in time.
Miscue from Sila at the edge of the box. Lowndes won the header. Now Lovenkranz. Sila to Forsyth. That's beyond Lowndes. Possession given away by St Johnstone. Hibs, who haven't won in their last 4 matches, they've drawn 2 and lost 2. Lost their form at a crucial stage of the season, and they must be thinking now, with Rangers faltering, if they'd got some results in the last few weeks, they would be in a very strong position in terms of that second Champions League spot.
Yeah, I think Hibs have been given another lifeline, Rob, actually, which they maybe thought had gone. With Dundee United's result yesterday, it's given them a great incentive again to go and win this one and get themselves back in the hunt.
Good defending from Kernaghan. McClune. Again, that's asking a lot of Lowndes. Not getting much service at all so far. That's a free kick, though, for the challenge on Sila.
Yeah, Freddie Arpinon maybe just trying to win the ball. I don't think there's anything malice in it, no any malice in it, but he's certainly taken Sila's heels over.
Little burst of pace from Sila, taking him away from Jack. It's good close control as well. And the left foot shot, didn't really catch it, but it was a shot on target, and it certainly was useful skill in the build-up.
Oh, no doubt about it. Great feet here from Momo Sila. We think he's been shut down twice, maybe 3 times, and then he manages to get enough space to get a shot on target. Unfortunately, doesn't quite clip it as well as he would hope.
He's been a star man in a BBC Sunday match before, of course. That cracking goal back in October, which had the beating of Rangers here, 2 goals to 1. Nathan Lowndes, still a lot of doubts about the future of Lowndes. Out of contract shortly at St Johnstone, and the Perth team would like to keep him.
Yeah, I saw him on Tuesday night, Rob, and he looked very lively when he came on and obviously scored the goal.
Free kick going against Lowndes. He's a physical player, and as far as Hugh Dallas was concerned here, too physical.
Yeah, I think it's quite soft here. It's the striker's job to try and get in front of people, and try and get obviously shots on goal. Here we see him, he's just challenging there, but possibly just too late and making contact with the centre-back.
Seven minutes gone and still no serious threat on goal. That long-range effort from Sila, the only shot on target so far. And for all Hibs' clever build-up play, still to create a decent chance. That's a foul on Hartley by Uli Larsson.
Yeah, here again, Paul Hartley's wonderful at this. He's got such a low sense of gravity, and he turns very quickly onto people, and Larson's obviously had to foul him to stop him in his tracks.
Alan Kernaghan's gone forward for the free kick, taken by David McClune. Not the best. Larson's headed away, but only as far as Sila. On his right foot this time. Struck it well, but sadly for him, struck it wide.
Yeah, again, it's great technical ability. He sets the ball up, it sits nicely, wonderful drive, but as we can see there, it actually goes quite a bit wide. But he's threatened the goal twice now in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and that's certainly promising for St Johnstone.
Such good technique, Momo Sila, and he's become a very popular figure this season for the St Johnstone supporters. A season for the Perth team which has really fizzled out. No chance now of a top 6 finish. Jim Weir back to Alan Main. Finds Dazovic. McClune. In for Steve Frail today. Frail played in midweek, but Frail on the bench as another teenager gets his chance. Forsyth's pass cut out by Latapi. Smith chested down by Zitelli for Arpinon. That's a good challenge from Weir. to win it for St Johnstone. And now Hartley. That's well won by Freddie Arpinon. I think we've seen enough in these opening 9 or so minutes to know that he looks like a player of real quality. And Alec McLeish looks as though he may well have done it again in the transfer market.
Yeah, I think it's a positive signing for him. Again, it'll take him a wee bit of time to adapt to Scottish football, but certainly I've seen him playing once or twice in France, and he's a very capable technical player, and I'm sure he'll settle in fine.
And again, that was Arpinon carving out the chance just about for Libra. And he can mix it in the midfield as well, already showing his ball-winning abilities.
It's an interesting battle in the midfield area with so many offensive players, Rob. They're getting more time than they normally would with defensive players playing against them. They tend to think more of the offensive game than the defensive game, which is certainly allowing them more time in that area to create things.
Libra offside there. May have been Zitelli as well, but certainly the St Johnstone defence moved out as one. Hartley gets support from McClune. Ethan Lowndes. And back for Hartley. Early ball in. And very comfortably dealt with by Paul Fennick. That's a Hibs throw. Again, good ability on the ball from Nasila, but couldn't quite prevent it crossing the touchline. Cleared by Kernaghan, and that's a heavy one on Lowndes by Fennick. Udala says play on. Fouled by Arpinon, and he was in a hurry to take the free kick, too much of a hurry, wasted opportunity. Laursen to Fennick. Well judged by McManus, but good covering from Kernaghan as well. Alamein usually likes to introduce a little bit of drama when he's got the ball at his feet. Jack chasing Sila. Kept in by Momo Sila. And cut out by Fennick. Kernaghan's pass seen all the way by Latapi. Tam McManus. And as well kept in by Lovenkrantz. Now for Scythe. Back from Lowndes. It's well played. Looks like the man for Scythe will take over from Gary Boland if and when his transfer to Hearts finally goes through.
He certainly looked very comfortable, Rob. I watched him on Tuesday night and he was very accomplished in that game, lacking no confidence in his own ability and certainly not showing any nerve whatsoever. He certainly looks the part so far.
So does Freddie Arpinon. That's good play again, moving away from McBride. Laursen. Stretching out was Mark Libra, got his toe to it, but couldn't get the ball under control. Hibs will be looking to do a little bit more in the final third.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Rob. I think they want to now start creating. They're getting the ball at times in deeper areas, but the final pass so far has not been ideal for either of the strikers. I'd like to see Tom McManus maybe just playing in between the Lovencrantz and the young fullback Forsyth to get on the ball. At the moment he's playing slightly further up, and it's allowing St Johnstone to stay as a back four and keep it nice and tight.
David McClune fires in the cross at Lowndes. Knocked away by Jack. Headed down by Zitelli. First there was Forsyth. And that's a decisive challenge from Gary Smith. He's been a big player for Hibs this season, having been out of sorts at Pittodrie and surplus to requirements there, but what a job he's done in the Hibs back three this season. A foul by Jack on Sila. Jim Weir pushes up to the edge of the penalty box alongside Lowndes and Hartley and Lovencrantz. Played in by Sila. No challenge on Laursen as he powered that header away. Hartley Brisley off. Freddie Arpinon. Zitelli. It's an old French combination, this one. The attack breaks down with Kernipin's intervention. Controlled on the chest of Lowndes. And it's a St Johnstone throw. That came off McIntosh as Lowndes threatened. Paul Hartley looking for a free kick for obstruction, and he gets it.
Yeah, I think he's actually, Kudalis is going to boot the centre-back there, Fenwick. I think he's just got caught out, he's just been watching the ball too long, and young Hartley's peeled off him into space, and I think if he doesn't pull him up at that point, I think Hartley's probably through and goal.
Taken quickly for Hartley. It won't count. Hugh Dallas hadn't authorised the free kick to be taken, and that's a hard one for St Johnstone to take as Hartley flashed the ball into the back of the net.
Yeah, but as you can see here, the referee hasn't given the decision. Hibs aren't organised. It's a great finish by Hartley, but again, there's nobody actually in that area, and I'm sure Hibs will be quickly to put somebody in. Jack has gone straight into that area as we speak.
Hugh Dallas's popularity in Perth has just gone down a couple of marks. Now the free kick from McBride, headed away by Laursen this time. David Zitelli, Latapi finding room. He was getting bodies forward. Still it's Latapi. Did too much, took it too far, and that was a good interception by Dasovic. A well-weighted pass from Lovencrantz for Sila. Gets the break of the ball off Fenwick, and Hartley and Lowndes were waiting in the middle, and that's a missed chance for St Johnstone.
Yeah, it's another opportunity. Great direct run. He's got a bit of luck there. It hits off the shin of the advancing Hibs defender, but he's again maybe just a wee bit more composure. He's took a swipe at it in front of goal there, and it's gone tamely by, but it's very direct again, and Silla's definitely causing Jack problems and the Hibs midfield in general.
Zitelli to Libra, and David Zitelli gets it back. Libra's made a good run, but he's offside. Slight delay on the flag going up.
Yeah, I think here, just as he's about to play it here, Rob, I think he's probably just a yard, but there's very little in it. It's a bad run by Libra because you can see the player in front of him. If he just holds his run or flattens his run for 2 or 3 seconds, he's in and goal.
Alec McLeish looking for his team to start creating chances in front of goal. They've had plenty of possession so far. Weir to Kernica. Took too long, Alan Kernica, and his clearance charged down by Mark Libra, who made a pretty sensational entry into Scottish football when he scored the equaliser at Celtic Park in the 1-1 game 5 weeks ago. Paul Hartley has it. And now Sila. Cross blocked by McIntosh. And offside again is Libra. Failing to spring the St Johnstone offside trap. Kernaghan goes forward, and Sila awaiting Jim Weir's free kick. It was Finnick towering above everyone else. Laid off by Libra for Latapi, and Mark Libra immediately wants it back. Turning away from Forsyth, onto his left foot. That's for Larsson. Oh dear. Got himself into a great position there, really, Larsson. And acknowledging the jeers from the St Johnstone supporters.
Well, we've got to give him credit, Rob, to get up there, but it's a hard one. It's bobbling across, and obviously great belief in his ability, but it's a very, very difficult one to hit that as it bobbles across the face.
Well constructed that by Hibs, wasn't it?
It was wonderful football again, and in the last 10 minutes or so, Hibs have managed to put one or two nice passing movements together. Libra's been caught offside twice, but had he watched his run, they might well have been in both place.
Now St Johnstone with Lowndes. Sila in the middle, Lovenkrantz as well, that's Jack. McBride onto it. No way through. There's a chance there for John Paul McBride possibly to have a crack at goal. Chose to try to weave his way through, and Hibs kept him out. Paul Finnick. Well, that's not one of his best, but I was just about to say, alongside Gary Smith, he again has been a real top-quality hiring by Alec McLeish, and I suppose you would expect Alec McLeish to be able to mould the defence together.
Well, if anybody's going to pick one out, it's certainly be Alec. Finnick has always had ability, and I think being given the boost of coming to a club like Hibs, he's taken that on board, and Alec will have certainly given him a lot of information, and he's developing into a really good defender.
Latapi to Larsson. Zitelli. McManus. It's good defending from Alan Kernaghan. Flicked on by Nathan Lowndes, but there's not a teammate in behind him. Smith. St Johnstone have it back with McClune. Hartley to Sila. And that was a late one from McIntosh.
Yeah, again, I think he tries to win the ball, but Silla's just too quick and gets the touch on the ball, and it makes it look an awful lot worse than it was. But again, it's Silla at the heart of all the attacks in the St Johnstone team.
So midway through the first half, and no goals so far at McDermott Park. The BBC Scotland live match, St Johnstone against Hibs. Jim Weir trying to find some room. In from Sila. Missed by both Finnick and Weir. Lovenkrantz settles for the throw. Paul Finnick. Arpinon. Stretching out Larsson and drives it forward to Libra. Zitelli. McManus. Came off for Scythe. Libra's flick. Zitelli was there. Grabbed by Alan Main.
Yeah, here again, it's good offensive play by Hibs yet again. Obviously a good block by the St Johnstone defender, and again, nothing really was going to come of it. It kind of fizzled out again, but it's promising for Hibs. They're starting to get a hold of the ball, and I think with the football players that they have, they're going to create chances.
Larson's throw. That's Dasovic. Kept in by Sila. It's a poor pass, and he's fortunate that that finds its way through to McBride. Now Lovenkrantz. Well off target.
Yeah, I would like to see Lovenkrantz more in the game. This time he comes onto his weaker foot, and he's decided to have a shot at goal, but it's really not troubled the goalkeeper in any way.
Never looked likely there to add to his goals tally for the season, which is at a solitary 1. Libra. Zitelli. Precise header away. Flicked on by Kernaghan. Jack to Libra. Foul given against the challenge on the Frenchman. Libra watched closely by Kernaghan. Up to go McIntosh and Fennick. And that's a poor one. Long kick out from Main, chased by Lowndes, putting pressure on Gary Smith. But he stayed calm and escorted that one through to Nick Colgan. Arpignon's pass deflected away from Latapi. McBride to McClune. The central area of the pitch is undoubtedly causing problems to the players with passing. It's not helping, is it, when it?
No, it's certainly
find a teammate.
It's very difficult. The players are having to take that extra touch. It gives them a bit more time then to shut people down, and it's very hard to play good fluent football. But to be fair, both teams are trying very hard to do that. They've got the players out there capable of it, and hopefully it will continue to give us 1 or 2 chances.
Paul Fennick. Zitelli moves us out, tries to win it back from Dasovic on his left foot. And another shot flies well away from the target.
Again, it's good play again from St Johnstone 1-2. Dasovic does well to persist here, but I think just as he's about to hit it, the ball bobbles slightly, and he's taking a bit of a swinger at it. And again, it's well over the bar.
Nick Colgan and Hibs have lost just 23 SPL goals all season. They're top of the pile in terms of defensive record, along with Celtic. McClune's header finds Dasovic. No Paul Kane today in the heart of the midfield for St Johnstone. Kane and Dasovic, such a strong combination there generally for the Perth team. That's offside. Frustrated again, Nathan Lowndes, the man who scored the equaliser at Pataudry in midweek. Still winless St Johnstone since the 9th of December. It's hard to believe. 11 SPL games since then have come and gone, and they haven't managed to get a win, and that succession of results has meant that they've faded out of contention in terms of top 6 place in the SPL.
Yeah, Freddie Arpinon again showing his determination to try and create something, and it's a clear foul by Silla.
Here is Arpinon. Libra. Cleared by Weir, but only as far as Jack. Zitelli. His volley deflected wide. It should have been collected by Alan Main, and that's a bad lapse of concentration from the keeper, which hands a corner kick to Hibs.
Yeah, it's great skill from Zitelli to get himself into a shooting position, but Alan Main will be very disappointed that he hasn't gathered that and kept possession, and he's put himself under a bit of pressure now with what will be, I'm sure, an in-swinging corner from Latapi.
The Hibs captain today, Russell Latapi. Sits in the box to aim at. Flicked by Fenwick. In went McManus. And that's another corner kick. Again deflected wide. I think it came off for Scythe. And Hibs can keep the pressure on here.
I think Russell Latapi's having a problem actually. The ball just rolled as he went to hit it, I think, the last time. I think he's having a problem finding a position.
In from Latapi, and saved by Alan Main. And Martin McIntosh wasn't too far away from getting a second touch on this.
That's a fabulous ball in, Rob, and a great flick from Libra, but Alan's well positioned.
Here's McLuhan. Johnstone want a good ball into the box, and that's not really it. And challenged Colgan as he grabbed it. Hibs now looking as if they want to instill a little bit more urgency. Zitelli. Latapi. So elusive, Russell Latapi. That's the latest in a succession of disappointing shots at goal.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Rob. Again, great skill to create the space to shoot. Wonderful dummy there. And again, just as you mentioned, a lot of the shots on off target rather today, they've been very disappointing.
It's one of those days when you look down at the pitch, isn't it? It's got to be the pitch to blame.
I think you're probably right, Rob. It's taking a bobble. The players don't have the confidence and the belief to strike the ball that early, and it ends up that you're not getting the amount of shots on goal that you would wish.
McLuhan for St Johnstone. Willie Larson's header. Lovenkrantz there before Smith. And St Johnstone a free kick. Sela takes it quickly. Here's a chance for Nathan Lyons. Good save, Nick Colgan. Best effort of the match. And Colgan was well up for it.
Yeah, great speed of thought from Sela to set Lowndes in. And Lowndes, to be fair, has hit targets. A great strike, and all credit to Nick Colgan for turning it round for the corner.
There was power behind it from Lowndes, and it was well anticipated by Colgan, and good strong hands as well. Sela with the corner kick, and it picked out at the far post. Ross for Scythe. And it looks to be a corner kick at the other side, although that looked to be for Scythe's header.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Rob. I think that came off for Scythe at the last moment there. He didn't much about it, but it certainly came off, and I think he's changed the decision here, Dallas.
McManus aiming that pass down the line for Zitelli. It was Ross Forsyth who was in the way. Sela over the head of Larson, chased by Hartley. There's not much doubt at the moment Sela is St Johnstone's best hope at the moment of finding a breakthrough.
No doubt about it, Rob. He's the one that's been more potent, certainly in the middle area. He's causing Jack all types of problems. He's the first one to go and support them. Nathan Lowndes on his own, and at this moment in time, if there's a goal going to come from St Johnstone, you feel that he'll be behind it, or he'll be the one that'll put it in the net.
Kernigan for Lowndes. And all the way back from McIntosh, dangerous. Colgan didn't fancy that one little bit. If he was going to hit it back, McIntosh, it had to be delivered much firmer than that, because it dropped invitingly for Lowndes.
Yeah, very hesitant there, Rob, in putting it back. Nick Colgan, to be fair, has been very quick off his line and anticipated it and has cleared the danger.
Forsyth getting the better of McManus in that aerial tussle. Smith to Zitelli. Jack with Larson on the overlap. Arpinon looping round the outside, but it's Larson going for goal. His shot blocked. And St Johnstone have a problem.
think it's McBride.
John Paul McBride, yeah. Sandy Clark making himself heard. Just over 10 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, I think he was thinking now if McBride's not going to be able to continue, just how he's going to change it tactically now, Rob.
And what St Johnstone don't need is another player injured. And that's a sad sight to see John Paul McBride heading off. And it was pretty innocuous, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he's maybe twisted his knee or his ankle, I think. No, I think he actually tried to pull up quickly before the shot was hit. And just as he's pulled up, maybe he's caught his studs or he's maybe put his weight on his knee. But it's looking unlikely that he'll continue at this moment in time.
In fact, a substitute is already appearing at the touchline, and Mark McCulloch will be the player to come on. Another youngster on the pitch, just 21, and he will replace John Paul McBride.
I don't think that'll alter it enormously. I think he'll probably go into the midfield area. He's slightly more defensive player than McBride is in terms of ability going forward, but he'll certainly put a bit more pressure because he'll pressure the ball very quickly, and he's also capable of making a pass. But I don't see that changing enormously the structure of the St Johnstone team.
The drop ball, and Paul Hartley returns it to Hibs possession. Dazovic to McClune. Back goes Libra. Held up by Lowndes for McCulloch's first touch. And it's a useful first touch. Hartley's cross beyond Lovenkrantz. There was a tug at the shot of Lovenkrantz, it seemed, as he was under that cross.
Yeah, Lovenkrantz, I think, is just in too early here, Rob. There's plenty of time in the wider area. Oh, McCulloch's first tackle there, actually, looking on the view.
Colgan aims at Zitelli. Kernigan though won the header. Good control from Sila. That's a good challenge though from Fenwick. Arpinon to Zitelli. Movement up ahead for David Zitelli. Arpignon's made a great run. Dazovic cutting out any danger at the edge of the area. Here comes Matthias Jack, holding off Sila and Dazovic. Zitelli, his pass deflected away from Libra. Hibs lacking a cutting edge. They've pushed the ball around plenty, Hibs, but can't really find their way through when they get to the edge of the box.
No, you're absolutely right, Rob. Again, I don't know whether the playing surface has a lot to do with that, because they're certainly creating opportunities in the last third against St Johnstone, but just the final pass or the final shot on goal has eluded them at this moment in time.
It's not as if Hibs don't have something to play for here today. There's a real chance to go to within 3 points of Rangers and revitalise their bid for a second spot in the league. Weir's clearance, Fenwick's header. It's again impressive stuff from Ross Forsyth. Looks a real prospect for St Johnstone. Kernigan to Lowndes, chested down for Sila. In the way was McIntosh. Offside, Nathan Lowndes. A flurry of excitement for a moment there, for a split second, until the flag went up against Lowndes. Martin McIntosh pushing forward. Libra, and another offside flag. There's not been an awful lot of flow about this game.
Well, there's been a lot of either free kicks, Robert, you say, or offside decisions, and it's never really allowed the tempo to stay high and allow one or two passes to be made consecutively, and it's breaking the game every time.
Means free kick aimed at Hartley. Neither he nor Larson got a touch. It's a Hibs throw, and 5 minutes left in the first half. St Johnstone 0, Hibs 0. Silla for Lowndes, and good defending from Gary Smith. Concedes a corner kick, but cut out the immediate threat of Lowndes, and who was the man who was setting him up? Surprise, surprise, Momo Silla.
Yeah, again, Silla's right at the heart of everything, Robin. Again, Lowndes in the last 5 to 10 minutes has been through once or twice and is starting to now look rather bright. And again, good covering from the Hibs defender to stop that attack.
Kernick and Weir both up for the corner kick. Larson though won the header, and McManus at the edge of the box to clear. St Johnstone aiming to keep Hibs penned in, but it's won by Jack and immediately given away to McCulloch. McClune to Mark McCulloch again. Jim Weir. That's for Hartley. Screening the ball from McIntosh, but McIntosh managed to pull it away. Now Latapi, Tom McManus offering some wood. And a free kick goes against Ross Forsyth. But he succeeded here in holding up McManus, who was threatening.
Yeah, this is again the problem with the pitch. I think normally Russell Latapi will put those balls straight into the path of McManus, and this time he's had to check out and try and play it to feet to him, but it's certainly been a bit more promising now for Hibs.
David Zitelli might just fancy himself here for a crack at goal. He does. It's awkward, and it's well saved by Alan Main. On this treacherous surface, this was testing.
Yeah, I think he's in between here, whether he tries to curl it and place it or whether he blasts it, and he's done neither. And it's although it's a difficult one for Alan Main and he's dealt with it comfortably, it's never really threatened to go.
If we were to get a goal in the first half, there's just 2.5 minutes to do it. Plus maybe another minute to be added. Silla watched closely by Jack, and he takes some watching. Good burst of pace from Tom McManus. He's away from Alan Kernicker. A disappointing final ball. That maybe just tells you the story of the first half for Hibs. That looked highly promising, and the cross was far too heavily hit. Dasovic to McCulloch. Change of pace, takes him away from Arpinon. Flicked in towards Hartley. Back with McClune. That's for Lowndes. And Dasovic. Well, you really wanted to see that on target. Laid back, rolled back to Dasovic by Lowndes, but again it's off target.
Yeah, I think this time we can't blame the pitch, although it does jump slightly, but Nick Dasovic has got time there to hit target, and really he should be hitting the target from there.
So 1 minute of regulation time remaining and one further minute to be played. Freddie Arpinon. And we've said it so often in the first half, another pass goes astray, and that's given away by Kernock into Latapi. Manas. Latapi again. Now Jack. Laursen supplying some wood. It's a good header away by Forsyth. McCullough keeps it. Lovenkrands against Smith. Throw in at the outcome, and Sandy Clark's not happy about that. He was looking for a free kick. He reckoned Lovenkrands was held back, and he's not a happy chappy, is he?
No, he's certainly slightly irate there, I would think, Rob. I think he's got a wee bit of justice in that, or injustice rather, because I think Lovenkrands was probably still going to keep the ball, but Smith's got across his body and blocked him, and maybe a free kick might have been the better decision.
And what Sandy Clark wasn't saying there to Hugh Dallas was, you're having a fine match, keep it going. It's not pretty at the moment. Matthias Jack. McIntosh to Laursen. Jack linking the play together. First half is over. And a disappointing first half it's been. This match, you feel, must get better. Hibs with so much to play for. And if you're looking for an outstanding player of the first half, try Momo Sila. Very inventive, very creative, very skillful for St Johnstone. And impressive too for Hibs has been the new boy, Freddie Arpinon. Bit of grit in midfield and a fair bit of skill to go with it as well. But Eric, stalemate so far.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rob, we haven't had a goal to spark it all off. There have been chances, but it's been very difficult for both teams, certainly allowing the last third to actually create and put something in the back of the net, which I think this game is now crying out for.
Things have got to get better, we reckon, in the second half, and surely Alec McLeish will be reminding Hibs in the away dressing room at half-time that they have got an awful lot to play for here. It's 0-0 at half-time.
Yes, thanks, Rob. It has been disappointing in the sunshine here in Perth. A lot of unforced errors, fellas. Can we blame the pitch for some of those, Craig, do you think?
I think so. I think you can blame the pitch for a lot of them. You know, I wonder if it had not been wise to water the pitch a bit prior to the match, you know, because there's a lot of good skillful players there, and yet they can't get the ball down. You see some of the shots going. I heard Eric, you know, excusing the shot from Dazovic, or not excusing. I think the pitch was to blame there as well. So I mean, a bit of water in the pitch, and there is enough skill and show to give a better performance. It is a poorish game, poor quality, but the incentive is all with Hibs. You know, St Johnstone, it's pride there, and young boys been bloodied. The two fullbacks, excellent, I think. McClune and Forsyth, I thought were very good indeed, and that's heartening for St Johnstone and for me.
Yeah. As we all know in Scottish football, William, it's a fast game anyway. If you need to take that extra touch in the ball, you're going to be clattered, aren't you? You don't get the luxury of taking two touches very often, do you?
No, and the conditions aren't helping, but I do think that the fans and the viewing public deserve better. I used to have a few shots like that. I always blamed the pitch, irrespective of what the conditions were.
Obvious reaction.
Yeah, Dazovic must be disappointed with the quality of shot, but for a lot of poor crosses into the box as well. It's definitely been lacking individual skill, perhaps. You could excuse Silla from the rest of the players out there. I think he's been exciting, he's been direct, he's been very positive in everything that he's done, and for me, he's the one player that has stood out. Russell Lattery, for me, has been very, very disappointing. I'm sure that Alec McLeish will be in the dressing room just now pointing that out to Lattery. He is such an important player for Hibs, and he really has to spark, and if he sparks, then Hibs play. But so far I don't think Hibs really have played. It's been disappointing, and considering what's at stake for them, I'm surprised.
Massive incentive. Yeah. We'll play one or two of the incidents from that first half then, and they do tend to be largely dominated by St Johnstone. They did have the ball in the net, of course. Paul Hartley early on, but the free kick was taken too quickly in this case, Craig, which is disappointing, certainly for the Saints fans.
Yeah, well, here's the non-offending team being penalised. St Johnstone, the non-offending team there, and, you know, I wonder if you shouldn't give them every advantage. But to be fair, Hugh Dallas is back to the action, and he hasn't signalled for the free kick to be taken. You know, and I feel sorry for St Johnstone because it was a very well-constructed early free kick. They did another one later in the half, similarly, so good credit to them. But, you know, the non-offending team being penalised when they score, to me, is disappointing, but it was correct.
You said Momo Silla quite rightly, Willie, has been maybe the star man, and we'll get one or two examples of just his direct running. He's skillful, and he's a nightmare for a defender when he goes at them like this.
Well, that's what defenders don't like. You know, they hate players that are direct and just turn and want to take the ball at you and try to commit you, and certainly Silla is that type of player. He's exciting to watch. He's got some superb footwork as well. Didn't really just catch that shot, but everything else was first class. But here's again, he gets a little break, but I think in these conditions that's what you play for. A little bit off balance when he hits his shot as well, but you know, he is causing an awful lot of problems playing just off the striker, in between the striking role and the midfield role. He's finding a bit of room, and he's using it to good effect. And you know, with that sort of a skill, pace and directness, then you know, it is going to be very difficult for Hibs to pin him down. But he is the only player on the pitch, in my opinion, that you know, has shown that sort of a skill.
His technique is good. You can see, Craig, why he's become such a big favourite here at McDiarmid Park this
absolutely. You know, and you know, considering the reputation that Russell Latterby has, you know, he's been outshone in the first half by Silla. Silla's control is magnificent, and he's two-sided. You know, I'm impressed because he'll go to his left and hit it with his left, hit it with his right. He's got moderate pace, so this is a find, and he's had a very good season, and I'm sure he'll get better here once he gets into the Scottish culture here and the Scottish climate. Yes, but you know, he's very, very good, and it's a delight to see that, and hopefully we'll see Latterby do the same in the second half, and we'll get a better balanced game.
No doubt about it. The quick free kick you mentioned from Momo Silla as well, which led to again a decent chance. Nathan Lowndes struck this one quite well, and in the end quite a decent save by Nick Colgan. Yeah,
I think this is training ground stuff. You know, I'm sure that Sandy Clark, Billy Kirk would work on, you know, when you lose a free kick, take it quickly. Look at that. Excellent.
Good vision to see the players free, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the Hibs players weren't 10 yards, but, you know, on that occasion, Hugh Dallas let it go, but I think it was because he saw the whole action. The previous one had his back to play, and maybe that's why he called it back, but that was good free kick.
It was. Hibs, as we say, disappointing, Willie, obviously. Latterby's taken a corner, which Libra got the header on, and this was maybe the best chance they had in the half, really, and it really wasn't all that clear-cut a chance, but man, nice corner, difficult to defend against again. Yeah,
it was. It was just setting the temp at the corner. You don't see it there, but the first one was very poor, but a great curling corner into the near post. Always difficult to defend. Alan Main right in the spot to take it, but Hibs have been disappointing. They haven't created chances. They've played some decent football, and I think that they've linked well back midfield to front, but really in the final third haven't done too much. You know, from a set piece, I thought that this was an excellent strike from Zitelli. One that's going to test the goalkeeper. I always think in these conditions, if you can bounce the ball just in front of the goalkeeper, then you're going to ask questions. Certainly there was questions asked of Alan Main. I'm sure Craig's delighted to see how he handled that, because that wasn't an easy free kick to take.
Yeah, that reared up in front of him, and in fact, although he was going down, he took it quite high up, didn't it?
It was. It was a super take from him. You know, anything can happen there. Your timing's really got to be right. You've got to be confident, and I think Alan Main is a confident goalkeeper.
Hibs, as you say, have got so much to play for, Craig. I think Alec will be disappointed they haven't shown more urgency. Most of the urgency seems to be coming from Saints, who, to be honest, have got nothing to play for,
nothing to play for, nothing to lose. You know, I'm sure Alec will be getting in there giving them a roasting, because he'll re-emphasise, look, we can get into Europe. Now, what a boost it would be for Hibs if they could get into the European scene there in second slot in Champions League. And, you know, Alec must be saying to them, you know, I don't know if he'll double the bonus, but he'll be doing something, surely, to motivate them for the second half. And he's a big inspirational guy, Alec himself, and I'm sure he'll inspire the Hibs. I would expect to see a very bright start from Hibs in the second half.
Good, well, let's hope you're right. We'll be back live with that second half shortly, but if you did miss Sports Scene Match of the Day last night, let's bring you up to date with highlights of our two matches yesterday. Motherwell Hearts, or Hearts Motherwell in just a moment, but before that, the Dundee Kilmarnock match at Dens Park.
San Juan. Good pass. Onside, Craig Dargo, a good one. Chance for the opening goal for Dargo. 3.5 minutes gone. And Jesus San Juan has an immediate impact for Kilmarnock. The slide rule pass, and Dargo timed the run to perfection. Carranza turning away from San Juan. That's for Juan Sara. Here's a chance for Dundee to square the game, which Sara does. 28 minutes gone, and that's Juan Sara's 15th goal of the season. It's a chase for Artero. Did well to squeeze that into the box. Canija trying to find some room. Support from Smith. In comes Gavin Rowe. That's a brilliant finish by Ray. 3 minutes into the second half. What a week he's had. Dargo wrestling for possession and raised his hands. A flashpoint in this match and a red card for Craig Dargo. And he only has himself to blame here, Dargo. Gary Hay, good skill, gets to the byline. Up goes Morocco, and up goes Gus McPherson, and Kilmarnock are level. Great ability here from Gary Hay to get away from Stephen Tweed. Chipped it up over the head of Morocco, and the last touch, in fact, was off Alan Mahood.
With a cross. Tomaszek is there, breaks for him. Cameron, back to Tomaszek, may try the drive! That's a wonder strike from Robert Tomaszek. 14 minutes gone, Hearts are in front. Work again, teasing in a lovely cross, and an excellent finish from Andy Kirk. After 63 minutes, goal number 11 of the season for Kirk. Wilson with the cross, there's Kirk with the header! That's the second goal of the afternoon for Andy Kirk. A wonderfully flighted cross from Robbie Nielsen.
And that confirms that Hearts will be in the top six when the league splits next weekend. Craig, I'm sure this is a subject you're fed up talking about, but we have to mention Colin Hendry again, if only because Craig Dargo yesterday was involved in a red card incident at Kilmarnock, which had similarities, I suppose. He also threw the elbow, missed on this occasion.
Well, I don't think even Colin would deny that he should have had a red card, but prior to that, I think the offending San Marino player should have been at least yellow carded, and we might have had a penalty. But Colin has admitted he was wrong, and he's apologised. You know, and I think we should accept that, and we should wait to see what FIFA will do, if anything.
You see, that's what I was going to ask you. Because are you disappointed at the amount of criticism there has been? It seems to me slightly excessive. We're not condoning it. Of course it was a violent act. Of course it's a red card. I know you will discipline him, whatever FIFA do. But are you a little bit disappointed at
well, yeah, a bit. But, you know, Colin knows he deserves to be criticised. But, you know, it's been highlighted repeatedly. And other things went on. There were mitigating circumstances. It's not excusable, but it's explainable. You can see why. His eye never left the ball. It came over. He tried to free himself from the guy. And, of course, the final angry one was a sore one. There's no doubt about that. I don't think for a minute Colin thought he got him where he hit him. But there has been a lot of, you know, vilification. I mean, I know I'm being criticised for not coming out and condemning it. I do condemn it, and I have condemned it. But people are saying, what are you going to do? I asked these people, what did Alec Ferguson do when Cantona went into the crowd? What did Harry Redknapp do when Berkovic was kicked by Hartson? What did the late, great Jock Stein do when Graham Souness had a couple of indiscretions with Johnstone and Nicholas?
We don't know.
It was never publicised.
Yeah, they did something, we assume.
Now, the golden rule in management is you do not publicly vilify your players. You keep things private. I did that with other players. I did it with Matt Elliott. So the same will happen with Colin Hendry. Colin knows, I've already had a word with him. But obviously, if we were to say he won't play for X games for Scotland and FIFA come out and say the same, or say something different, we wait to see what the governing ruling body does.
Yes.
And
But you will discipline Colin Hendry.
Well, I've already told him he knows, he accepts, you know, that he was totally wrong. But my support of the player is to maintain the team spirit. Now, I support him as a Scotland player. I don't support what he did. But you know, there's a mistaken notion that, you know, there's a mistaken support for softness. Our record with Scotland is the best, I think, in Europe, and that's not an accident. This is over the last half a dozen years. We've been top of the Fair Play League. We're always in the top 3 or 4. At the present, we're second. Now, how can anyone say there's an indiscipline in Scotland, or there hasn't been a proper action taken when some player does? They do transgress, both on and off the pitch, but it's dealt with privately in the dressing room.
As it should be. Well, I'd love to get your take on this, but the players are coming out. Saints, of course, without John Paul McBride, who we hear has been taken off to hospital, in fact, with strained ankle ligaments. Second half about to begin that. Let's hear from Sandy Clark before it begins.
Sandy, that gamble, if it was a gamble of giving youth a chance, is certainly working.
Yeah, young David and Ross are both doing very well, but that's no surprise to check. We know what they're capable of, and hopefully second half they can continue that.
The way you're playing at the moment, you must wonder why you didn't give the kids a chance before in the season.
Well, that's not really the way you work it, isn't it? You've got to make sure the timing's right for them, and that's important. But we're pleased with the way things are going so far. Disappointed we're not in front, but hopefully we can fix that in the second half.
Thanks, Sandy. Good luck.
Just check, thank you.
Well, Sandy Clark, pretty pleased with the way things have gone so far. I imagine that reaction would contrast sharply with what Alec McLeish reckons, because Hibs really have not looked like a side so far who have got the carrot dangling in front of them of second spot and possibility of Champions League qualification place, Eric.
Yeah, I think we'll, as Craig touched on, we'll see a brighter start, I would think, from Hibs. There's an awful lot to play for. I'm sure Alex underlined that at the half-time team talk, and I would hope to see a brighter start from Hibs, and maybe in terms of their position with Arpinon and Latapi, I think both of them playing in a similar area in the first half, and maybe they'll change slightly and get slightly more discipline.
Sam McManus making an early run, watched closely by Ross Forsyth, who certainly looked to have a fair bit of potential. Craig was talking too about the two 18-year-olds at full-back for St Johnstone, and a couple of other 18-year-olds on the bench for St Johnstone this afternoon as well, in Brendan Crozier and 10-goal Keegan Parker, who we should stress is being rested. There's no element of he being dropped by Sandy Clark, but Clark has wanted to use him sparingly this season, and sometimes his hand has been forced. Dougie mentioned a couple of moments ago that John Paul McBride has damaged ankle ligaments and is off to hospital to get a check. Let's hope it's not too serious for him. Kernigan's free kick. Silla trying to force his way through, and his momentum carried him right through, slap bang into Martin McIntosh. I don't think there was too much he could do there about stopping himself in full flight.
No, I think he's just keen to try and block the ball there. As you see, there's no intent in trying to hit him. He's actually watching the ball as it goes up the field, and he's just caught him late, but no malice at all there.
And he ended up with Martin McIntosh lying on top of him, which probably wasn't too pleasant either. Nathan Lyons the target. It was watched very carefully by Paul Finnick. And then possession going away. Dazovic wins the free kick, given against the challenge of Russell Latapi. Kernigan and Weir both up to the edge of the area alongside Nathan Lyons. Sammy Lovenkrantz there too. And Ross Forsyth pushes forward. In from Silla. And again a set piece which comes to Nout, straight through to the unchallenged Nick Colgan.
Yeah, it's disappointing in those areas, Rob, because when the ball's actually sitting without moving at all, it was a great opportunity to hit him a good delivery, and you've really got to take advantage of those situations and give a better delivery into the box.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame the pitch at a set piece, unfortunately. On the ball, Gary Smith for Libra. Looked to be nudged by Kernigan there as the ball was in flight. That's Forsyth. Played back infield by McCullough. Dazovic doing his best to keep possession. And the foul goes against Libra.
Yeah, again here I think Libra just loses control of the ball. He's done very well to keep it prior to that, and it's just a free kick, and St Johnstone again have possession.
Larson winning it for Hibs. And a good challenge from McCullough on Arpinon. And it's one of these moments where Alec McLeish wishes he was still on the pitch rather than wearing the suit at the sidelines. Smith to Arpinon. Well, it would have been neat had it come off, but that back heel from Arpinon has handed possession back to St Johnstone, which they failed to keep. Untidy stuff. Libra putting pressure on Kernahan. Weir covering in behind as central defensive partner. And he's in the way as well of Russell Latifi's pass. Five minutes into the second half. Still St Johnstone 0, Hibs 0 in the BBC Live match. Hibs 6 points behind Rangers. They could make it 3 if they win here today, and then of course Easter Road next Sunday. It's Rangers, so it is there for Hibs if they have the desire. McClune, Larson, neat flick infield from Zitelli, and that's good skill as well from Arpinon. He was outnumbered as much as anything else, and as he tried to hold possession, free kick given against him.
Yeah, it's a wonderful piece of skill. I think he actually thinks he's impeded himself, but McCullough has actually just followed the ball. He's put his body in the way, and I think it's certainly a free kick for St Johnstone. But great inventiveness again there from Arpinon.
Matthias Jack, who's had an argument with a set of clippers by the looks of it, gets a little word in his ear from Hugh Dallas. Weir's free kick. Lovenkrands, Kernahan. Snapshot from the edge of the area, couldn't really catch it.
Yeah, I think Alan Kernahan just coming off Tuesday night's performance as a striker, looking to try and hit target again then.
Sam McManus, Mark Libra. Well, he found himself some room, but he didn't get an awful lot of contact on the header.
No, I think it's a reasonable ball in, but I think he's maybe just up too early, which doesn't allow him to get any power, and he's coming away from the ball as well, which is hard to get it on target. But it was an opportunity, and there have been few and far between at this moment in time.
Matthias Jack gets a second chance. Touched back by Kernahan to Mead. Jack again. McCullough, Larson. David McClune. McCullough, first half replacement for McBride. And St Johnstone making unforced errors. Gary Smith aims at Zitelli. It breaks for Libra. Now Zitelli. And claimed by Main. For Scythe. Lowndes pressurising, Martin McIntosh. For Scythe. ruffles the net, but it's the wrong side for the teenager.
Here again, he actually takes a reasonable first touch, but it's very difficult to hit it at that angle. He's under pressure from the Hibs defender, and it's just spun by the post.
The head of McCullough and Larson. Arpinon to Finnick. That's another lazy pass. The pitch has to take its share of the blame, but also that looked to be a little bit casual.
Yeah, I think he's got more time there than he probably needs. Centre-backs, they like to just take it and pass it. He's got a wee bit more time to think about it there. Again, I think percentage has to go to the pitch, but maybe Finnick will put up his hand and say that he was at fault slightly for that one as well.
Libra, Arpinon, Latapi, Larson. Good touch from Zitelli. Larson in behind McClune. That's a difficult one for Alan May. He's in trouble against Libra. And that was audacious from the Frenchman, trying to score with a back heel as he was running away from goal. But he certainly was asking questions aerially here of Main.
Yeah, he does very well, Libra, actually, to put Alan Main under pressure, but he's going away from goal here, and Zitelli's coming on to the ball, and either to lay it to Zitelli or maybe try and keep possession in the penalty box would have been a better choice, I think. But it's good movement. Larson does very well, gets forward, bit of a deflection, puts him under pressure, and this is the time where he's made the bad choice there. Zitelli's in line with the goal.
It was goal of the season had it gone in, but I think percentage-wise it was fact against him there. Howitzer from Maine. Martin McIntosh got his head to it. Lovenkrantz to Lowndes. It's a neat flick. But Jack was there before Tommy Lovenkrantz. And he's strong enough as well, the Hibs midfielder, to hold him off. Libra going to link with Arpinon. Hugh Dallas waiting for an advantage to accrue. He'd spotted the original offence and he calls it back for the free kick.
Yeah, I think there's definitely infringement here. It's certainly good refereeing from Hugh Dallas, because Arpinon was through. It's a good tackle, but no real advantage, so he's pulled it back for a Hibs free kick.
Paul Finnick. And that was Ross Forsyth's header. It's well won by Kernaghan. Big feet from Lovenkrantz and pacey too. Hartley. Beyond Sila, and the chance was for Lovenkrantz, but he was offside, he wouldn't have canted. But this was more enterprising from the home team.
Yeah, it's a fabulous ball in by Paul Hartley here. Picks out at the back post, takes slight defection, and Lovenkrantz must just have been in earlier. Difficult to see there whether he was clearly offside, but a great opportunity, and really he should have scored from there, regardless whether it was offside or not. Maybe an infringement from the Hibs defender to put him off, which is reasonable defending, but another chance goes a-begging.
Libra's flick, Zitelli. Good exchange between the two French strikers. And that's good defending as well from the youngster, McClune, who has done himself no harm at all this afternoon. Hibs preparing to make a change, and you'd imagine that this has been a temptation for Alec McLeish to bring Mixu Patalainen into the action to try and rummel things up.
Yeah, Alec's probably just looking for a bit of fresh impetus up front, and it'll be either, I'm sure, Zitelli or Libra perhaps who will make way.
Lowndes finds some room. It's beyond Sila, headed away by Smith. Latapi got his head to it, McCullough. And away by Finnick. David Zitelli to Tom McManus. From McManus was intended for Libra, but a complete breakdown in communication between the pair.
Yeah, it's not actually. It's a quite a good ball in from young McManus. I like to see him driving forward like that, getting in between the fullback and the Lovingkrantz and facing the play. He's very dynamic, he's very quick. And he sees a pass, unfortunately, on that occasion, Libra's decided to peel out for the 1-2, and McManus has tried to play him in for a striking goal.
Always gets a bit livelier up front, doesn't it, when you see a striker getting stripped as a sub on the touchline, and I think Zitelli and Libra are wondering which of the two of them is about to come off.
Maybe a last-ditch attempt to stay on the pitch, Rob.
Tenacious play from Sila. Lofted forward by Weir. Larson's header. And in fact, just shows how much we know about it. It's Tom McManus who's coming off. And Patalainen to come on. And Alec McLeish clearly believes, as you would expect, that he has to go for it. An extra striker through the middle. And maybe a more physical approach as well. Trying to break down the St Johnstone defence. But Hibs have some defending to do here. Played in by Paul Hartley, and that's a good take, and he's lost it. Nick Colgan, he looked as if he had it, and then he dropped it, and it was hammered clear. McLuhan is given away straight to Larison. Arpinon, and puts his head in his hands as he realises the pass well astray. It's a good challenge from Jack. But confusion there in the Hibs midfield as Jack and Arpinon went for the same ball. But Jack wins it for Libra. Well, David Zitelli was unmarked there. If Libra had been able to get the pass away.
You're absolutely right, Rob. He's through, there's no one near him, it's just a side foot pass from, and he's right through on goal.
That's great play from Momo Sila. Through the gap he goes. Strength and skill, now Lowndes. And Sila grounded as the ball was played in. He looks up hopefully towards Hugh Dallas, who says play on.
Lowndes played it in to where he thought Sila would be. And Sila was on the deck. Worth another look, Eric?
Yeah, certainly here. It's a good ball out by Sila. Lowndes is through, he's made a good run in. Tries to pick someone out. It's very difficult to see whether he's just run into him or whether there's been some infringement there. Sila obviously believes there has been, but the ref's been very close at hand and he's made the decision and called it.
And Hibs will make that change. McManus off. And it's Mixu Patalainen on. 12 goals already this season. And it's a booking coming up for Matthias Jack. And not for that one in particular, but for a succession of offences, says Hugh Dallas. Yellow for Jack. And a free kick for St Johnstone as Momo Sila again threatens the Hibs.
Well, it's certainly livened up, Rob. The last 15 minutes or so have been wonderful. A real excitement. If we could get a goal now, I think we could spark a real good match.
Hibs defence standing firm. Played away by Latapi. First touch for Patalainen. Flicked on to Libra. And here's Patalainen through. Immediately a chance for the Hibs sub. Well held up by Patalainen, and the pass too strong. Well, you would have to say that that moment of opportunity for Hibs coming too early for Patalainen, who hasn't yet got his touch.
Yeah, it's well done by Libra, actually. It's a great pass through. Patalainen's away, maybe not as quick as he used to be, and the defenders have done well. He's tried to pick out Zitelli, who may well have been offside anyway, Rob, when it was played, but an opportunity for Hibs.
I think the flag stayed down there, but he certainly did look offside, didn't he, when the pass was played?
Yeah, I think just as he comes through, but it's good defending. The youngster again is back there, gets his body between him and the ball, and he's averted any danger there.
But signs there, encouraging signs for Hibs, that the introduction of Patalainen might well work out for them. Lovingkrantz to Lowndes. Sila turning his man yet again very effectively. Here's a chance. Paul Hartley tugs it wide. And there were 3 in the box for St Johnstone, and he turned that back across goal as well. That was a real opportunity to break the deadlock.
Oh, that's as clear an opportunity as we've had, Rob. Again, Sila at the heart of it. Wonderful turn. Uses his body wonderfully here. Great ball into Hartley. He's driving in goal. And unfortunately screwed that one by. Nobody's falling in even for the miss hit. So a great opportunity there for St Johnstone. And but the game's livened up, Robin. It's now starting to become very entertaining.
That's a foul by Lowndes and McIntosh. What me, Gov, says Nathan Lowndes, but
yeah, again, I don't think he means to do it, but he just tread on the foot of McIntosh there, and it's a free kick, no doubt about it.
that's a line on the target. There was a push by Weir. Hibs have a free kick.
That'll be a physical battle now. I'm sure that'll be a very interesting one with Patalainen coming on with his strength in the air and strength of body, obviously, to hold the ball up. And Kernigan and Weir there, who are certainly not afraid of any physical challenge.
Arpignon's shot. And a yellow card on his introduction to the SPL for Freddie Arpinon. And Nick Dazovic lead out.
Now, I don't understand this one. There's no intention whatsoever from Arpinon unless he's a magnificent footballer there to hit.
I wonder if Hugh Dallas hadn't told him that he was ready to take the free kick.
He may well not have understood that, or maybe has told him, Rob, you may be right, but it must be for that rather than the strike on. Oh, it's a terrible hit. It's a real dangerous one. He's take it straight in the face there, and he struck the ball extremely well, but I don't think there was any intent, but I think you're probably right, Rob. He's told him to wait, and Arpignon's decided to hit it earlier.
But that was a fair old scalp that Nick Dazovic took there. And he now knows exactly how hard Arpinon can strike the ball.
Well, it doesn't know what day of the week it is, but certainly how hard he can hit it.
Arpinon again rolls it for Latapi. Blocked by Sila. Matthias Jack. Again, Sila with the clearance. Zitelli. Kernigan's header. And that flicked off the head of Billy Larson. St Johnstone preparing to make a change. Keegan Parker will be the player to come on, and it will be a straight striker for striker swap with Nathan Lowndes giving away. Parker looking to add to the 10 goals he scored already this season. Kernigan. Great control from Sila. Charges it so well. Good technique. Back heel intercepted though by Patalainen. McClune. McCulloch. McIntosh attacking the ball. Smith's header away. Dazovic to Lovenkrantz. Hibs throw. Just over 22 minutes left. Will the deadlock be broken? Matthias Jack, the ball winner in midfield. Russell Latapi trying to drift away from McCulloch. How
Hibs must wish they had Frank Saucy on the field, so influential all over the pitch. Makes people play around about him, and they certainly miss him when he's not there.
And they certainly do, Rob. His ability to step forward into midfield to then release people in that area has been enormous boost for Hibs this season, and it's a real loss to them when they don't have his ability coming through them.
McLeish looking for a little flash of inventiveness, ingenuity, which will possibly win the points. But St Johnstone still reckon a win could be theirs. Matthias Jack's clearance. Alan Kernigan lofted over the top, and Tommy Lovencroft with a chance, which he takes. 69 minutes on the clock, and the deadlock is broken with Lovencroft's second goal of the season. That's a good finish. The offside trap was sprung.
Yeah, it's just played into an area, to be fair, with the centre-back, but he's come from slightly deeper, Lovencroft, and it's a lovely finish from the outside of his foot. Nick Colgan's made a decision to come early here. Here we see the ball played through. It's in a good area. Colgan's decided to come early. He's getting nowhere near the ball, unfortunately, but a very composed finish from Lovencroft.
Composed finishing here from Lovencroft. Timed the run well, and he knew exactly where the goals were as Colgan was sprinting towards him. St Johnstone have the lead, and the Hibs have a response. Oh, he's a bit happier than he was. Jim Weir, Parker underneath it, McIntosh in possession. There's McClune, probing again at the Hibs defence. Test of character this for Hibs, because they haven't won in their last 4, and that run could stretch to 5 matches just at the time of the season, and the prizes are up for grabs. Still time for them though. Smith, led by Kernigan. Sela stretching out to get there before Jack, and now has it back from Lovencroft. Certainly deserves to be in the winning team, Momo Sela, such as his been performance. Lovencroft again, and his second. It's another top-class finish. Sandy Clark enjoyed that, and Lovencroft may just have sealed it for St Johnstone, and again Sela, the set-up man.
That's a wonderful ball, wonderful disguised pass in. I thought the defender was going to pull him down for a penalty there, but again, a great finish. He just lifted it over the goalkeeper as he goes down. Very composed here. I thought he was going down for the penalty, and he just scooped it over the advancing goalkeeper, and that's a great finish from Lovencroft.
We haven't seen too much evidence this season of the finishing abilities of Lovencroft, but in the last couple of minutes we've seen 2 top-class examples of cool finishing. He looked, as Eric said, as if he was about to stumble in the penalty box, kept himself up, and as Colgan spread himself in front of the St Johnstone winger, he just clipped it beyond him. And stand by for another Hibs substitution, as they seem certain to. In fact, Grant Brevner there, ready to come on now, and I think Matthias Jack to come off. So midfield player for midfield player.
Yeah, slightly more offensive, Grant Brevner. He'll look to try and get forward again, because it's now make or break, I think, for Hibernian. If they're going to try and get something from the game, they're going to have to score in the next 2 or 3 minutes. And it's been a very disappointing performance for Alec. It's been such an important game for their season.
Larson's delivery. Patalainen's header. In goes Libra. And good goalkeeping from Alan Main.
Yeah, it's a more direct play here from Larson. Patalainen, strong as ever, gets a knockdown where you're always going to get crumbs round about the goal, but just not into the path of Libra this time.
David Zitelli. Squared for Arpinon. Good strike from Freddie Arpinon. But it rises a bit too high for him. And Hibs now ready to make their change. Chuck sprinting off. And Grant Brebner is on.
Number 19, Matthias Jack. That's Grant Brebner coming on for number 19, Matthias Jack.
Brebner to Smith. .15 of the match left. St Johnstone 2 goals in front. A busy figure in the midfield, Arpinon. Gets it back from Libra. Now into Patalainen. Libra, lovely exchange. Arpinon stopped right at the edge of the box by Forsyth. Slick stuff from Hibs, but again for them no way through. Arpinon again. McClune, and the offside flag was up. Been a good day for David McClune.
Yeah, certainly. I think he's been exceptional. Actually, both young fullbacks have done extremely well. Obviously been directed by the two experienced centre-backs there, but they've been very comfortable on the ball. They've defended exceptionally well, and at times they've tried to get forward and participate in the offensive third.
Omosila takes a bit of watching, and free kick goes against Brebner. Didn't see too much wrong there. He was obviously trying to get close to Sila, but Hugh Dallas obviously thought too close. Hartley with the free kick, taken short to Sila. McClune. Latapi knocked over by Dasovic. Well, that was more clumsy than anything else, but it's one offence too many for Hugh Dallas, so it's a booking for Dasovic.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. I don't think it's a particularly nasty one. He's just barged into him again. Latapi gets his body in front, but it's for persistent fouling, I think, and it's probably deserved after the 1 or 2 that he's had.
Played in by Smith, and away by McCullough. Not really testing enough for St Johnstone, that sort of delivery. Smith tries again. McIntosh. That's for Patalainen. Forsyth judged it well. Smith's header, Libra, strong enough to hold off Weir on his left foot. Good hit! But it was straight at Alan Main. Excellent strike though from Libra.
Yeah, he creates the chance for himself here, Rob. Sets himself up. He's a fair bit out. It's a lovely clean strike, but that won't trouble Alan Main.
St Johnstone threatened again with Parker. Solidly behind it was Nick Colgan.
Latapi.
Yeah, it's a great strike here from young Keegan Parker. He anticipates, he's prepared to take a chance. Colgan stays strong and makes a good save.
Libra to Arpinon. Latapi, who hasn't had the sort of influence in this match that Hibs would have wanted. Smith loses out to Lovenkrantz, and Tommy Lovenkrantz has had a major impact in this match. 2 goals in 2 minutes. And it looks as if the Perth team are on course for their first win since the 9th of December. Brebner, the Hibs sub. Wide for Smith. Now Arpinon. Good exchange with Smith. Arpignon's cross spins behind goal, slicing off the outside of his boot, and not impressed. Sandy Clark will be delighted with the performance from his reshuffled team, and his opposite number will feel very disappointed with what he's got from his players this afternoon. It was all there for Hibs in terms of incentive, but they really haven't delivered. Strong as well as skillful. He takes a bit of shaking off the ball. He's been advised to calm himself by Freddie Arpinon, but he really has been outstanding this afternoon, Sila.
Yeah, here again, it's great feet. There's 2 Hibs players round about. He manages to wriggle himself free and shows great body strength. Grant Bremner being flung off to the side of him now.
McCulloch to Hartley. Arpinon to Latapi. That's poor from Latapi. Easy interception for Dazovic. Minutes left in the BBC Live match. St Johnstone 2 goals ahead. If you've just joined us, both goals 2 in 2 minutes from Tommy Lovenkrantz. And Hibs really haven't created enough, and that's not going to ask too many questions of St Johnstone. The 2-goal hero, Lovenkrantz, to Hartley. His cross blocked by Larsson. And Sila overruns it, overdoes it. And don't forget Aberdeen Celtic coming later in the SPL. And that's a match you can hear live on Radio Scotland. Celtic with a chance of moving 3 points closer to the title. 3 wins in a week would actually win it for them if they can beat Aberdeen, Dundee, then St Mirren. But Aberdeen have proved a lot tougher to beat since the turn of the year. Their only reverse in the league was at Ibrox. Zitelli, Arpinon, change of pace, away from Forsyth. Tries again, Libra. Well won by McCulloch, and now Sila. Difficult pitch, but it hasn't posed him too many problems.
No, I think if anybody's dealt with the bumpy pitch today, it's Momo Sila. His close control has been exceptional in these circumstances. His passing's been excellent, and he's shown a real determination and desire to get a victory today for St Johnstone.
McCulloch way of that pass from McIntosh. I think Hibs contemplating making another change. Ian Murray standing by to come on, and Freddie Arpinon to come off.
Can't be finished yet, though. Libra to Patalainen. It is Arpinon. Rolled back for Patalainen. And unchallenged was Alan Main. Dasovic to Parker. Back from McIntosh. Cleared by Colgan. Good control from Lovenkrantz. He's blocked out by Smith. Brebner to Laursen. Latapi. And that's good play from Mark McCulloch. And Hibs want to make their third switch, and it is Arpinon off. He showed a lot of promise. And Ian Murray to come on.
Yeah, I think that's mainly due to a fitness thing, Rob, rather than anything else.
Laursen's throw aimed at Patalainen. Cleared by McClune. Solid stuff from Alan Kernaghan. Keeper Colden with the throw. Laursen's got himself in trouble against Hartley. Momo Sila with a chance. He was well aware of what was happening there. Because Colden was out of his goal to take the throw in, the minute Laursen lost the ball, there was a chance of lofting the ball beyond the keeper.
Well, it's an attempt again, Rob, from a player who's obviously full of confidence. He looks as if he's really enjoying the game today, and he's had a quick look up, good attempt on goal, and unfortunately for him, it's just come by the post.
And I don't think there's much doubt, but you're man of the match then, Eric.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Momo Sila. I don't think there's any doubt that he's been the outstanding player today. Whether it be his desire to get the result for St Johnstone today, or his technical ability, his passing, his final pass I thought was wonderful for Lovenkrantz's goal. And I think he's been outstanding today, and the real difference, I suppose, within the teams.
So Sila holding off the challenge of Tommy Lovenkrantz for man of the match, because it's his two goals which have won the game. Here's Latapi. On his left foot, Russell Latapi, good strike! Off the upright, and Alan Main saves the follow-up attempt.
Oh, it's a wonderful turn by Latapi. Great strike. Alan Main can do nothing there. Falls to a central defender, unfortunately, but to be fair to him, he's tried to put it in the side. And a great save from Alan Main. That's first-class goalkeeping. Here we see it again. Great turn by Latapi to create the space. Wonderful strike. Breaks to young Ian Murray. He does everything right. Tries to put it to the side, and a great save by Alan Main.
That's great anticipation from Main. Just reading where Murray was going to place that shot after Latapi's cannonball effort had come back off the upright. So unlucky there, Hibs, because if they'd pulled the goal back there, then there was just a chance that they might salvage something out of this game. Although they will reckon that this is a game from which they should have been very much looking for 3 points rather than one. But they'll have to settle for nothing the way things are. Parker closed out by McIntosh. And just 2 minutes left of the 90. Hartley to Parker. One back by Laursen. Dasovic. Offsides. What a season Keegan Parker's had. Just 18 still, and showing that he can score goals at the top level.
Locatelli against Lovenkrantz. In for Patalainen. Didn't get on the end of it. And it's all fizzling out for Hibs. Sometimes he chews happily, sometimes he chews angrily. And he doesn't look too happy, does he?
Yeah, it's been a frustrating day, obviously, for Alec McLeish with the expectation, hopefully, of a victory today to take them that bit closer to Rangers. But it's, as you say, Rob, it's all fizzled out, unfortunately, for them.
1 minute left, plus 2 to be added on. So 3 minutes for Hibs. It's possible for them, but you would say at this stage highly unlikely. Good backtracking from Hartley to hold up Willie Larson. McIntosh. Alan Main has been such a consistently high performance goalkeeper for so long for St Johnstone, and that save from Ian Murray really stopped any thoughts of a Hibs fight back in its tracks. Parker. Little burst of speed took him away from Larson. Now heads for the byline and wins himself a corner kick off McIntosh.
Yeah, good play from young Kika Parker there, just to run out time, really. He's got it in a wider area. Not in any real rush at all to do anything with it. Looks to try and cross it, and he'll be quite happy to get a corner at this late stage in the match.
Corner kick taken short to Hartley. Runs out of play, but also running away are the seconds for St Johnstone. Not much more than a minute left. We've already played a minute of added time. And Jim Weir at this stage is not really bothered where the ball goes. Fennick holding off the challenge of Parker. But it's all gone and Hibs know it. Smith into the box. Patalainen's header down. And as they reflect on this match, the Hibs players will be very disappointed with themselves. Big chance gone for them. Good play from Parker. And wins himself a free kick. Fouled by Fennick. One last set-piece opportunity for St Johnstone, but not surprisingly they're not committing too many players forward. No need at this stage. Weir and Kernigan stay back. Lovenkrantz. Well, you can't blame him for having a crack at the hat-trick, can you?
Absolutely not, Rob. No, I think not an awful lot of conviction and belief in that attempt, but and Momo Silla certainly gave him a glance to see that I think it should have been I who had the attempt, but he's done very well today, Lovenkrantz, very well indeed.
No complaints from St Johnstone. They've won the match, their first win since the 9th of December. Their first win in 12 matches, and the 2 goals in 2 minutes in the second half from Tommy Lovenkrantz did it. 2 excellent finishes as well, his second and third goals of the season. But even he, I think, would agree that Momo Silla was man of the match. Top performance from him. He was class in everything he did, and he also had that little bit of dig that you need as well to survive a busy midfield area. Silla, a star man for St Johnstone, and they'll be pleased with their showing, Eric, and Hibs, I think, will feel that they've let themselves down.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed for Alec, because it was a big game for him, and his team unfortunately haven't performed the way that he would have hoped, but all credit to St Johnstone. Certainly the 2 young full-backs were very, very impressive, obviously under the guidance of the 2 more experienced centre-backs. I thought young McCullough did extremely well when he came on. 2 wider players worked extremely hard defensively to stop Hibs in those wider areas, and Lovenkrands scoring the 2 goals which sealed the points for St Johnstone.
Hibs will feel that they've let themselves down. They've blown their chances of qualifying for the Champions League place, which comes with second spot in the SPL. It's been St Johnstone's day. It's been Tommy Lovenkrands' day. He's with Chick.
Tommy, that was a tremendous performance by St Johnstone this afternoon, and you must have enjoyed it yourself.
Yeah, very much. We need the points, and it was nice to come back and score 2 goals, so I was pretty happy.
You've actually just goal scoring burst into form this afternoon. We should have had more goals from you as the season unfolded.
Yeah, I hope so, but I can't promise it. So.
What about the performance of Mohamed Salah this afternoon? Momo, did you enjoy that game?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I am very enjoyed because long time team is no 3 point. Today afternoon 3 point. Yeah, it's very good for team.
I have to say that, Tommy, despite the fact you got 2 goals this afternoon, the man of the match verdict has gone to Mohamed. Do you think that's correct?
Yeah, I think it's okay. He played very well today, and he gave me the ball to the second goal, so I think that's okay.
Very cosmopolitan team this afternoon. Do you all understand one another on the pitch, Mohamed?
No, my English is no good. I speak very slow. I speak very short.
So that's you, me and Tommy, all of us struggling with English, but you get the bottle of champagne, the Bank of Scotland man of the match. Let Peter, Tommy, present that to you, Momo. Well done. Bon chance. Merci.
Thank you. Oh, save us the multilingual Chick Young. The smiles on the face of the Saints, and it really was a thoroughly well-deserved 2-0 win. I'm sure Willie and Craig would agree with that. They worked hard for it, Craig.
Yeah, that was 3 of them struggling with English.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, they worked hard, they deserved it. And, you know, Momo Salah was superb. You know, I was joking once he gets to know his teammates, but in actual fact, other than Alan Main, he's played more games than any other St Johnstone player.
You might for his granny by any chance, doesn't
it would be helpful if he had, but, you know, he keeps his balance very well. And as I said at half-time, he's two-sided, left and right. And a wonderful performance from him in difficult conditions for a ball player.
It was St Johnstone's first win in 14 games, in fact. And if we look at the SPL table tonight, Willie, the real disappointment for Alec, obviously, is that Hibs, who had the chance to move to within 3 points of Rangers with the game at Ibrox to come next week, they've blown it, haven't they?
Well, he'll be bitterly disappointed. Don't think there's any doubt about that. A great opportunity for Hibs to close that gap, put pressure on Rangers, who aren't playing well at all just now. But unfortunately, Hibs aren't playing well either, and you've got to acknowledge that fact. They didn't play well today. I thought it was a disappointing performance.
Russell Latapy, a big disappointment, particularly, wasn't it?
Huge. I mean, you know, you look at Salah turns the game for St Johnstone. You expect Latapy. You don't see Latapy in the game until 78 minutes when he has that cracking shot. But he's capable of doing that, and he's capable of turning games. And for me, he hasn't been doing it lately, and he didn't do it today. Let's take a look at the 2. Well, we're going to hear from Sandy Clark. In fact, we will see those 2 Tommy Lovenkrands goals. But Sandy Clark has had a rough time, as Rob said, since early December, looking for his first league win. Finally, he's got it. Here's what he thinks about it. He's with Chick.
Sandy, obviously, you just want to get a team full of teenagers. It's a simple game, isn't it?
No, I've just said to the lads here, Chick, really, football frustrates the life out of you. The way we can play, and I know we can play the way we did today, and we've shot ourselves in the foot. We should be in the top 6, I don't care what anybody says. And when we played it the way we did today, I think we proved that to a lot of people. But unfortunately, we're not, and that's our own fault.
It wasn't just youth. Mohamed Salah, fantastic game.
I think it's a team game. Mohamed does exceptionally well for us, but other lads have to work very, very hard to compensate for bits that he doesn't do for us, which is basically working back when he's not got the ball, when we lose the ball. But that kind of skill and ability at football is so important to us, and we don't mind carrying them a little bit at times when it produces games like that.
Well done, Sandy. Tremendous performance today. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Right, let's see those 2 Tommy Lovenkrands goals then. Only his second and third of the season, but he took both, Willie, absolutely superbly, didn't he? Here's the first of them.
He certainly did, playing it very tight, just on the shoulder of the Hibs defence, but he really catches that well, just clips it over the top of Colgan. But, you know, Alan Kernahan now using all his experience just to turn the ball over the top. And Lovenkrands, he needs a cool head because he's under pressure from Colgan. Colgan comes out and puts him under real pressure. You can see it just coming up. You know, he's got to be brave just on the edge of the box. He is brave. He knows what he's going to do. He just lives it over the top into the back of the net.
And Kernahan's ball straightforward just over the top, Craig. Nothing subtle about it, but effective.
No, over the top. I think the Hibs back 3 were coming out against the ball. You don't need to turn quickly, but the timing of the run was superb. And that was an excellent goal from
and brave, because he knows he's going to be hit, doesn't he? He knows that's coming.
I don't like to be critical. I think maybe keeper Colgan committed himself a bit early and made it easy for him. You know, there was no decision. The decision is chip the goalkeeper. But if he stays maybe at the penalty spot,
And the second goal, obviously, just wonderful build-up and what a finish.
Oh, the reverse pass was fantastic for that one. Look at this. That reverse disguise pass, fantastic, and a great strike.
He could have gone down and got the penalty, perhaps, Willie. I mean, it's obviously it wasn't in his mind, but I think he would have got it had he gone down.
Yeah, there was still a lot of work to do when he receives this ball, because Gary Smith is coming in really strongly and puts the challenge, and it looks at this point that he's going to go down, keeps his balance well. Also the vision and the confidence just to clip it over the top of Colgan. You know, really well executed goal.
Yeah, and he did need to chip it over the keeper, didn't he? Because
he did it. Well, you just wonder if Gary had made contact or if he'd gone down. Gary might have been running for a red card, you know, because no last man penalty kick. But great play and no play acting. Get the ball in the net. Don't dive for the penalty. I like that.
Yes. So overall, I mean, St Johnstone today, for all that there are a lot of youngsters in the team, the old heads made their contribution as well, like Kernigan and players like that at the back.
Absolutely. Jim Weir's a stalwart for St Johnstone. I've known him for years from his Hamilton Accies days, and went to Hearts and he's here, and he does a great job for them. But the two full-backs superb, and then to bring on young, sprightly Keegan Parker, just put the icing on the cake for St Johnstone. What a talent he is.
Absolutely, yeah. He's one I know that makes you smile when you think about what he might become in the years ahead. Russell Latterby, we've talked about being a disappointment, but he did conjure up one moment of a skill which perhaps deserved a goal, Willie.
No, it was great. Superb skill on the edge of the box. Don't get a particularly good view from it there. It does come off the post, and a real opportunity that's wasted. But you've got to give credit to Alan Main as well for some great goalkeeping. But a lovely bit of skill there from Latterby. A superb strike as well. Very unfortunate that it does come off the post. Alan Main beaten, but you know, Alan Main fully concentrating, not quick and down very low to make an absolutely superb save. That's first-class goalkeeping at any level.
Yeah, that was a terrific save, actually, Craig. I mean, even seeing it there again, it's almost a better save than we thought at the time.
It was, and in actual fact, you wonder if the first shot had been on target. He might just have got his fingertips to it, because it only passed him by the minimum amount. But what a reaction, as Willie said, he got up and then he was down again. That's great goalkeeping, technically. So I know he's not been fit all season. He hasn't trained as much as he normally does, but he's still showing that he's got a great pair of hands. Yeah, great result for St Johnstone. Good result for Rangers, obviously, with Hibs losing. We hear that Alec McLeish has not yet emerged from the dressing room and may not for some time. They might get back to Edinburgh at midnight.
But I mean, you wonder why, when so much is at stake, that teams just don't perform. There couldn't have been much more of an incentive for Hibs today. They're not thinking about cup semi-finals, surely, or believing that they only have to turn up and win.
No, I think not. But you know, sometimes when the pressure's on, it's much more difficult. St Johnstone, nothing at stake, happy-go-lucky approach, put in the young guys, the full-backs in particular, and away they go. And they're playing quite without any pressure, and it's a freedom. And they just express themselves, whereas Hibs are very conscious of the possibilities that exist. Now you wonder, had Rangers won yesterday, if Hibs might have played a bit better, because they've realised, well, I think we're struggling here. We'll go for a nice, comfortable third. But with the pressure on, it's difficult to define, and it's very hard for the manager just to put his finger on it, and Alec will be really frustrated. What's happening here?
No doubt about that, but let's be happy for St Johnstone. Their first win in 14 games. They thoroughly deserved it on the day, and of course there's more SPL action tonight, because Aberdeen meet Celtic. You can hear that on the Radio Scotland Sports Sound programme. It begins at 6:05. The match begins at 6:05. They're on it at 5:30, and that includes your call as well. Lines open at 7. That's it. Thanks for joining us. From Craig, from Willie, and from me. Goodbye from McDermott Park.